fantasy football.
It's my quarterback. If you guys do that, man, it's unfair.
How's your fantasy team looking this year?
I won $1 million.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
Hey, this is Rory Scovel, and you're listening to My Fantasy Wife on your speakers or your headphones.
My Fantasy Wife Podcast.
Style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable.
Blair.
I watched 40 minutes of Space Jam this weekend. It's 40 minutes of my life. I'm not going to get back.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Gary.
They had already announced he was leaving. He just didn't want to wait out the 30. You know how when you quit a job, you got to give him 30 days or whatever.
2 weeks. You've never had a real job, have you?
No.
He is the man in the fantasy world.
Drew.
You're not a Peyton Manning fan,
I'm not a Manning fan.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Lewis.
You love Burger King.
Yeah, I like Burger King.
Yeah.
Not the game. We're talking about practice, man.
You're listening to My Fantasy Wife Podcast. www.myfantasywife.com.
Welcome, listeners, to My Fantasy Wife, the weekly sports meets comedy meets marriage podcast, where a husband and wife discuss sports, fantasy leagues, and their impact on pop culture and relationships, including their own. I'm the wife, comedian Blair Postman. Yay. I'm joined by my husband and sports stat expert, Gary Hames.
Hi.
And we're also joined, I usually say substitute, but maybe we're just going to promote him this week to our current hot topic.
Does that mean a raise?
Social media maven.
Hours?
Yes, ombudsman, comedian.
The hours will come. Ease off.
Comedian Wills Maxwell.
How goes it?
And it goes, Wills. And rounding things out, sound engineer, comedian, and man about town, Mr. Louis Bishop.
I like Wills. He's a hardworking man. He doesn't care about pay. He cares about hours.
To never miss our weekly episodes and extras, subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at My Fantasy Wife Podcast, Twitter at My Fan Wife, and support the podcast by liking and rating us in iTunes. Miss any of that? Then just go to our website, myfantasywife.com, with links to everything. Gary,
Yeah.
Tell us about this week's sponsor.
All right, Blair, check this out. This week's sponsor.
Yeah.
This week's sponsor
Yes?
is Podhive.
What?
Podhive.com matches from small all the way up to mid-sized podcasts. And
Yes.
not just that, also advertisers.
What?
Podcasts get matched with advertisers who otherwise might what?
Miss them.
Miss them, right. Completely miss them.
like I'm
Advertisers
missing
get
something.
heard. What?
I feel like I'm missing
You
something.
are, so listen.
Okay.
Advertisers get heard by listeners of what kind of podcast?
The coolest.
Coolest podcast. Who would be their perfect customers. It's an audio sponsorship love connection. Two things connecting for love.
Yes.
And if you want to know more, it's easy. It's so easy. Go to
How
podhive.com, and there is what? More information. More than you now have. That's podhive.com.
The passion. The passion.
Yeah.
That was like the Hamlet speech of podcast ad reads.
It ran a little long.
That was a call to arms.
Yeah, it was a call to arms. All right, how you doing today, Gary?
I'm well fed.
Well fed.
Yeah.
Yeah, why are you well fed? Oh, because we went to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, D.C. and ate the
We
best
ate all of it.
Chinese appetizer meal I've ever had.
Yes, and the Thai food meal.
That was good, too.
Yes, and donuts.
What
They
makes
were-
a good
well-
What makes a good Chinese appetizer meal?
They had... It was kind of a limited menu. It wasn't that it was an amazing amount of stuff, but we got these
pork
sticky
buns.
Ooh.
They
Hot out of
were
the oven.
like glutinous wheat.
Mm-hmm.
They had the consistency of like a Nerf basketball.
That makes it sound not good.
No, but it was
they're very good.
delicious. I don't know how to
They're
tell you.
very warm, and then they would stuff them with things like lobster.
Right.
Or
One was stuffed with lobster,
short
and one
rib.
was stuffed with like
Short rib meat.
and it was unbelievable. And then we had really good dumplings that were cooked on a grill because they were charred on the outside.
And then tempura things.
And then the best tempura vegetables I've ever had. The batter on that was so thin. Like I don't know how you would even do. I couldn't make it.
Gary was very
Fantastic.
impressed with this.
It sounds that way. It sounds
Yeah.
very delicious.
Really good meal.
And we had Mexican, high-end,
Yes.
snazzy
Good
Mexican.
grilled meat.
Yes, and we had Thai food, and yeah, it was a whole thing.
Wow.
not all at once. This is
Right.
spread out
Over the course of 3 days.
Over the course of 2
The
weeks.
donuts are the only thing. They were good, but the one here's better. But they were good.
Yeah. They were perfectly good donuts.
Yeah.
All this is happening while Wills is drinking orange juice that he gets to the bottom and says, hey, is the bottom of the orange juice bottle supposed to be orange?
Yeah, there's like orange dye or something collected at the bottom of it. I don't feel well.
Okay. If you're
But
gonna
every
be
bit that's
sick,
left on the bottom of the bottle is something you didn't consume.
there's some boxes to your right, empty boxes in case you're not feeling well.
Don't throw up on the collectibles.
Yeah, no, I drank the orange juice to feel better, but I probably should not have gotten it at the same convenience store that sells like free expired soda in front.
Yeah, that's not good. What did you do this weekend, Wills? Anything?
Oh, I caught the pineapple shaped lamps last night.
Yes.
They were doing a show over at the Ruth and Bucky Stein Theater at Thalian, which was really fun. So it's a really good space, really nice fit for them. It was a great show. They did a Disney themed show, a magical themed show,
right? That in no way violates any trademarks or copyrights of the
parody
Disney Corporation
of famous fantasy and fairy tale characters from our childhood. Yeah,
exactly.
Do you think that they realize that their initials are also the same as a personal seat license? So they've named themselves, whereas you hear their initials, which I've heard people call them PSL, that remind people of the most hated way to finance a stadium that teams use to extort money out of their most loyal customers.
I'm almost sure they do not consider that at all at any time.
They go to war with pumpkin spice latte every fall. It's very fun. It's a very fun social media campaign.
Whoosh. All right, Mr. Bishop, how was your weekend?
It was good.
Happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you.
To our father who is here.
Yes.
You are our resident
Wait a minute,
father. What? He is our resident father.
Oh, okay. So he's not our he's not our
genetically
dad.
our dad.
Well,
No.
I do have to talk to you after the show.
Wait, what?
I knew the two of you looked alike.
Right.
I've been growing this red beard for so long.
Right,
well, you should see your mom. You'd understand.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, upcoming guests this week in episode 119. 119 episodes we've done. That doesn't include the one we screw up and threw away. This is PRANAV BEHARI. PRANAV BEHARI's coming up. Woohoo!
Oh, yeah.
That's one for every 2 of my IQ points.
Yes, baby. And then whatever.
Did I do that
and
right?
Elisa Hush and Emily Winter and Joe Perot and Ryan Connor are all going to be joining us in the next few weeks. So those are all going to be exciting. And
Ryan and his wife, Sarah Connor.
No.
Okay,
No.
just check.
No. And then just as a little extra, what Joe Perot is going to be doing with us is a special anticipatory Game of Thrones episode. We're going to talk about what happened last season, what we think might happen this season, figure out
still
fantasy
looking
league.
dreamy.
He's still looking like...
Because I heard his face got mauled by a dog.
No,
Is that not true?
no, that didn't happen. That was just a rumor on social media.
Oh, that was us yesterday.
No,
Almost.
no, you're not going to get me into this kind of trouble. Not going to let it happen. All right.
If somebody says they have a sweet dog named Hannah, would you expect a trained killer attack dog to greet you at the door?
That is true. Like our sponsors, our
Really?
hosts.
Wow, you sucked your friends right into paying for the show.
Our hosts, our hosts have a lovely dog, German Shepherd, but it is also trained to kill.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to turn it off.
Yeah.
Like off, Hannah.
Yeah, we forgot to put the arm
Off,
pad
Hannah.
on.
Off, Hannah.
Off.
Off.
Okay.
Off.
To be fair, she was very sweet.
She was very sweet, sure. To us. All right, guys.
Until you say Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, right. And then
it's on.
Then it's scary.
Why'd you say it? Why did you say the word?
Oh, sorry. Off.
Oh, yeah, right now in D.C., if they're listening to this, they just got mauled.
Right. He listens to our podcast sometimes, you know.
Okay.
All right, guys.
On the speaker, on the new pod home.
Hopefully
that
not.
plays throughout the house.
Hopefully not.
Wow.
All right, guys. We're going to do a little fact-checking with Wills Maxwell. This is the part of the podcast where we correct the mistakes we made last week to make room for the mistakes we are going to make this week, like that one.
Right.
All right, Wills Maxwell.
Just to save me some work for next week, you pronounce mistakes, mistakes.
Okay,
Listen, it's mistakes.
Okay,
All
sorry
right,
about that.
Out the way.
Tomato.
Tomato. So we're just gonna dive into a comment Gary made last week. That's our only fact check.
What? Only one thing happened that was wrong.
Well, it wasn't even a wrong thing. It was
Oh.
it was a pretty clean show, so it wasn't even a wrong thing. It was just an interesting comment. Gary was talking about the state of tennis and that an unranked person could come in, and he lamented, where are the Nick Bollettieri's to come and take them to schools where they can get set up with prostitutes and blow and become...
Right.
Did you say blow? Did I add the blow in there?
I think you added the blow.
Okay, I think I added the blow. I'll fact check that.
I think the blow was implied.
Right.
You can't have hookers without.
I think you patted him down and you dropped a bag of blow next to him and said, hey, look who's got cocaine.
Hey, look what I found, everybody.
We didn't say they didn't have blow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might have said American tennis blows.
Probably. That might have been where I got that from.
Right.
So, yeah, just a quick background on the Nick Bollettieri school. Nick Bollettieri, a very famous tennis coach who has shaped the career of, looks like, every champion of the past half a decade. The Williams sisters, Maria Sharapova, Anna Kournikova, Andrea Agassi. And looks like in 87, he sold his camp to International Management Group. So they bought IMG. They run the camp now. Now he's still on board as in a managerial position and a recruiting position.
And for the blow.
And the hookers.
Right.
Oh, real quick for the fact check, I did not find anything on hookers and blow.
Oh, well,
but still.
Did
it's
you
there.
find? Did you?
I didn't find anything that said it wasn't there.
What about anything that came up about our whole War of the Roses? Gary had thought that he used the wrong Edward, in which dynasties of English royalty were fighting each other in War of the Roses.
I did not check into that.
Oh.
I will move that to next week.
The only true part of that, it was definitely Henry VIII was the king when that all started, but the rest of it I completely made up.
Gotcha.
All right.
So yeah,
good job though.
So the Nick Bollettieri school, he's still there managing, but he's not training since 1987. So that might be
why our tennis sucks.
That might be the cause of Gary's
the suckage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But would you think like it would slip 20%, or would you think we would just completely stop mattering on the international scene for 20 years?
I would have thought the 20% thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay.
Who knew he's the only reason that a country of 300 million people can't have a tennis star?
Yeah.
I think
all on his shoulders.
And Mr. Bishop, I do appreciate this. The thrill is gone in the background to describe Gary's state of mind regarding U.S. tennis.
Yeah, no problem.
I like it. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I guess we're gonna launch into some hot topics, and can we have a little
sure,
a little hot topics swoosh?
A few bruises, some broken dishes, pissed on fish.
What?
But I think you should have a drink for this next part.
What is this?
There are two dilemmas.
Sounds like
that rattle the human
he's a short guy.
Joe Pesci?
No,
how do you
shorter.
hold on to someone who won't stay?
DeVito?
Yeah.
Dan DeVito. War of the Roses. This is from War of the Roses.
Yeah, he was the attorney in
the
that,
movie.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He had quit smoking for 30 years, and then he started again.
Oh, very
We're
meta.
going to need some of these later, Mr. Bishop.
That was a
by
dark
the
movie.
way.
That was a very dark movie.
Gotcha.
All right. So is that our hot topics?
Yeah.
Okay. That's our hot topic swoosh. So, guys, the Warriors win. Warriors win the NBA.
Yeah.
And Gary is immediately ready to start talking about next season and the draft. So there's a lot of
Well, it's this week. It's not that big a leap.
Well, there's a lot of sub stuff for this Warriors win for Gary. First of all, what does it mean for either the dynasty of the Cavs or the Warriors? Or if LeBron, this is a question I had. If LeBron went to another team, he won a championship for Cleveland. If he left Cleveland now, would the city let him leave in peace?
No.
You don't think so?
No,
they're not happy that someone else won. They talk about like that. They think that the Golden State Warriors basically cheated to win, but they didn't do anything to cheat. You know, like they're giving Durant crap. Everyone's giving everyone crap. No one's happy unless the people that they want to win is happy.
It's not, and I don't think the whole last time he left, the problem wasn't just that he left before getting them a ring. It was that he left.
Well, it was shenanigans.
Yeah. So I don't think he's kind of put himself in the position of being the hometown hero. Like he's an Akron kid playing for the Ohio professional team. I don't think that that fan base, that town that's really passionate about their sports, would be okay with the hometown hero leaving, especially again.
Even if he against all odds won them a championship last year, and I say he won it because I feel like he won.
Well, yeah. I don't think it was just like, oh, you owe us a ring, now we don't need you anymore.
Now we're square.
Yeah, it's like as long as you're playing, we want you.
We own you.
As long as you're breathing.
What about you, Gary?
I mostly disagree.
Okay, why is that?
I don't think it's. I don't think it's that they just be like, hey, go ahead, go, you can leave. I mean, I think
No,
they
they'd
would
be
be
sad.
angry.
Right.
But it's not like the first time I feel like he had to go into hiding for 2 years or the postal bomb would have blown his house. Like they were furious to a level that NBA fans may have never been furious before because he grew up there. He's like hometown boy. You think about like all the NBA superstars that there have ever been. How many teams had the guy that was going to change the league for the next 10 years happen to be from their town, and then the year that he turns pro, they happen to have the number one pick. Like It's just 1,000,000,000 to 1, you know? And so they got him, and then right as he hit his peak of his physical maturity and was ready to go on the Michael Jordan, 6 championship in a row and string, he up and left, and he did it totally publicly, completely caught them unaware, and humiliated them in front of the entire country. Like, I just don't feel like this is that. They won a championship. They don't want him to leave, but I don't think it would be, we're going to hunt you down and murder you.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think he could leave, and I think it would be okay.
I think it's like that was a weird sound, right?
That was wow.
I think that was just in our headphones, by the way.
Okay.
That was see, I was on another plane.
Yes, you were in yes.
Yes, in another galaxy. Anyways, what I feel is that he left them once, and then they realized how much they loved him, and then he come back, and now when he leaves, they're definitely going to murder his rabbit. And,
wow.
Now I'm not saying.
Are they going to boil it?
Yeah,
now I'm not
in
saying.
front of him.
I'm not saying he's going to leave. Is there any talk of him leaving? I was just sort of.
Well,
curious.
he signed only through next year, through this coming year.
So he's got one more year.
Yeah. So I mean, that leads, and he did that on purpose. Supposedly, and I understand this too, like the salary cap is accelerating the NBA at a remarkable level. You don't want to sign like a 6-year deal right now because by the time you get to the end of it, you're going to be grossly underpaid compared to the other stars.
Now, what if he goes to Golden State? Would that be the greatest thing ever?
That's what I was laughing about. Because I've told y'all this before. If I had NBA superstar quality talent, and especially somebody like LeBron.
And that implies you don't.
Right. And especially somebody like LeBron who's making, like Michael Jordan did, a fortune in more than his salary in off-the-court, stuff.
Right.
Doesn't need any money. He's probably got $500 million in the bank, and he can sign any commercial he wants tomorrow. If he really wanted to whore himself out, he could make a fortune.
Right.
So what I would do in this situation, as soon as I left college, I would sign for the NBA minimum each year with a different team. Just whoever looked like they had the best team, I would try to win a championship every year, and I would charge them nothing so that we could get other players under the salary cap. That would be what I would do.
Can we start a GoFundMe to get LeBron to go to Golden State Warriors? He'll take the minimum, but we'll give him the money on the side.
Difference, yeah.
Right.
We'll make up the difference.
Huh. I don't know.
Wasn't
I mean, how many has he won?
He's won 3.
Right, but how many has he really won? We only
3.
count the one, right?
No, we count all 3. We
don't
all 3.
count the ones in Miami.
Why don't we count
If
those?
you don't count the one in Miami, then we're not going to count Golden States this year.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you count Golden State this year?
I mean, because it's the same thing. Why wouldn't we count the Miami ones?
Because
Lewis
it
just
doesn't
hates
count.
LeBron James so
It's
much.
the same thing.
No.
Just hates him so
I
much.
saw a report on CNN that suggested that the Kevin Durant that played this year is actually a robot, and the real Kevin Durant is tied up in a hippie commune in Wyoming.
Sort of like a whole Scooby-Doo thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, then let me ask you guys this. What do the Cavaliers need? Let's assume the Golden State Warriors remain roughly as is, and maybe the Spurs. What does Golden State? What do the Cavaliers need, and can they get it?
They need to trade and get Russell Westbrook over there.
Well, they don't have to trade. They don't have to trade. He's gonna. Did he re-up? I thought he was going to be a free. I think he re-upped for like a year. I think he's going to be a free agent.
Okay,
am I right?
Good.
I'm not
like
certain
that.
about that though.
So yeah, they could they'll just get Russell Westbrook, let him, and let them have their own even more super team, and that's just what we'll do every year. Every year we'll just take like the most talented person who's not James Harden can go to Golden State the next year. We'll just keep on taking the top stars and putting them on either one of those two teams until suddenly the East-West All-Star game is just Cavs versus Warriors.
Yeah. They could alternate having that All-Star game between Cleveland and Oakland.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Oakland is moving to San Francisco now. Well, and they're actually paying for the stadium themselves.
If nobody,
which doesn't happen anymore.
Right, that's true. If nobody makes any changes, Golden State's going to win forever. The Cleveland as constituted cannot beat Golden State.
Right. So what do they need to do?
Get a player the level of like Wills is talking about, like a superstar player. They're all talking about getting George out of Indiana. He's okay. He's a good player, like a board. But his problem was he had that massive leg fracture at the Olympics, and I don't know that you come back. Like he was a rising star, before the last Olympics, but he shattered his leg and missed a year.
Now, what you think is going to really happen is the surprise rise in dominance more quickly than anyone expects of the Boston Celtics.
Well,
and it's a shame that Drew Harrison, who used to work for this podcast, isn't here since he's had such a.
Let me clear up several
Celtics fan.
Several who?
He never mind. You wouldn't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Several things about that. First of all, I hate Danny Ainge, so it pains me to say this.
Who is that?
That's the general manager, the little whiny bitch of a point guard that used to play for the Celtics and is now their general manager.
Okay, well, I mean,
yeah.
What,
yeah,
was there more to that?
He went to BYU, even though he's not a Mormon. Who does that?
I guess he does.
Yeah.
So, what were you going to say about him that you hate?
So I hate him. He's just the whiniest.
Okay, but what's the part you?
But he's great. He's a great general manager. They've stockpiled draft picks, put together a good team. They were the number one. They had a better record than Cleveland this year, but Cleveland was coasting through the season. They destroyed them in the playoffs. But he just smart things. Like, they have an all-star point guard, and the number one pick in the draft this year is going to be this point guard kid. And so they didn't need it. And so what he does today, he trades it for the number 3 pick. They're going to get the same guy they would have picked at number 1 at number 3, and now he's got an extra first-round draft pick. He's just a smart GM. And that team is good, and they're young.
I want the NBA to adopt, like, SAG rules when it comes to names. I don't like that there's like another Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, I don't
around.
either.
That's not okay.
It's very confusing.
He's got to be like Isaiah J. Thomas or something.
Yes,
or...
there could totally be another Michael Jordan in the next couple of years.
What if LeBron James changed his name to Kevin Durant? There's
nothing stopping him.
So weird.
Maybe. Do you think that would help?
It might help. You wouldn't know who to guard. Who's guarding who?
Who is the one or two players? Let's pretend money is no object. Who could they?
I don't know who to shoot.
Right.
Shoot him. I'm the real Kevin Durant.
What about the guy in the basement? Okay, who could they get?
He's been a robot the whole time.
That's right. Who could they get to play with LeBron who would make the difference? Forget who they've talked about. Forget reason.
Right. I like the idea of trading a current medium grade player for a 6th or 7th pick in the draft.
I'm looking at the free agents right now for this upcoming, and Blake Griffin is going to be available.
Now that would help.
Oh yeah,
they need some interior play and some rebounding.
Right. Okay.
How about this?
Didn't he get hurt? Wasn't he out for a long time?
Yes, he's got a career full of injuries. But he's a good player, though.
All right.
And he's a huge physical force.
If he could stay healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is the GOAT? Who is the ceiling is the roof? Who's the guy he's been chasing his whole career? You put them together.
You want us? You're talking about...
Hold on.
He's a little past
Charlotte?
Wait a second. Let Mr. Bishop finish.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You bring Jordan out of retirement.
Okay.
You put Jordan and LeBron.
Yeah.
Just 2 on 5. Okay?
I'll tell you this.
2 on 5.
They're both really competitive.
Yes.
And so, as old as Michael Jordan may be, I think he would get in, for whatever age he is, unbelievable shape.
Well, he thinks he could do it. I'm sure.
I'm sure he does.
Have you seen the video of him just destroying the Bobcats?
No.
Like, someone, I don't know why, but someone made a comment like, Michael, can you even play anymore? And he showed up at a Bobcats practice and played them all like one-on-one and destroyed his own team.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you think they were letting him do it? Like,
I doubt that.
Like, what if your boss came in and said, like, let me do that funny clip show on the morning news?
If my job would depend on me showing my boss that I can do it better than he can.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Fair enough. But okay, besides Michael Jordan, which I think is very interesting.
You're just going to brush off the greatest player of all time?
No, but I mean,
that's a whole nother podcast.
Who is currently
a whole nother show?
What player that is currently playing or eligible to play or after this or in the draft this time around could they get? Who would make
I don't
a difference?
think there's anybody.
What about someone on the Spurs?
Well, the Spurs are a very intelligent team. Like it's more like the Spurs are going to be competing against Cleveland for the same sorts of players.
I know, but I'm just saying who's out there who could really help. Who's not going to leave Golden State?
I'm with Wills. I'm with him. I actually have the audio of him beating the Bobcats.
You know what they need? They need a shooting guard. The best player they could pick up that would really help them is Del Curry.
So you're saying you think a plane right out to Charlotte?
Who invited Bobcat Goldthwait?
Thank you, Gary.
Different Bobcats. Different Bobcats. But
I was
like
excited. He's
Mr.
one of my
Jordan,
favorites.
do you really want to play one-on-one?
Okay. All right. I actually like Bobcat Goldthwait, but that's enough.
The last time I went to see him, he got.
I was with you.
No. The last time he left in the middle of the performance. He got pissed off at the audience and left.
No, when we went to see him in Richmond, he did not.
No, not in Richmond. This was at the Improv. Maybe it wasn't the last time I saw him.
It wasn't the last time
But
I saw him.
he walked out of the Improv in the middle of his set.
No, we saw him in the Richmond Funny Bone,
I
like
remember
when
that,
he was
too.
on his way
No,
back.
you're right. That was probably after that.
Yeah, it was. Okay, well, so...
I'm sorry I bored you with that story. I'll try to think of something more interesting.
Well, I just want one that's what's real. I just want one that's in chronological order of what happened.
Okay.
So anything else about the NBA draft, Gary, that you want to point out?
Why doesn't happen for 4 days? I want to stay in chronological order.
No, I mean that's totally appropriate because it's exactly the same thing.
Okay. What?
We were in the car a long time today. Okay. So, seriously, before we move on, is there anything else about the draft?
Well, I think what they can do is trade a medium grade player off their team for a medium first round. Because there's a lot of intriguing people in the draft this year. Like the guy that Duke signed, I can't remember his name last year, and he was supposed to be the number one incoming college player in the whole country, and he got hurt. And he played like half the year, but he was a disaster. And he went into the NBA draft, really now nobody's seen him play well at all. But you pick up a guy like that he's going to go like 15th or 20th. If you pick up a guy like that, and he could turn into the kind of level player they need, you know what I mean?
All right.
I just don't think you're going to be able to get. Like I said, they need Steph Curry is what they need, and they're not getting him.
Wow.
Although his contract is up after this year. Wouldn't that be something if Steph Curry now went to Cleveland?
Ooh, I would like that.
Yeah.
What if they both went to the Celtics?
Wow. That would be something too.
Right? I don't know.
Right.
We should play 2K together, guys. We should play 2K.
What's 2K?
NBA 2K, 2K17, 2K18, video game where you can just pretty much do this. You pretty much go, what if this person's on this team? And then you move them, and then you play basketball, and it's fun. Or you make a my player, and then you're like, what if Blair Postman entered the league? And then you play Blair through a very realistic time through the draft and whatever.
Let me ask you a question. What position do you project her out to?
Blair would be at the point.
Okay.
What?
Blair would be at the point.
So I'm playing basketball in this scenario?
Yeah. Bishop, I'd put as a power forward. You would put as a small forward.
When you say that Blair would be at the point, are you talking about that area of prostitution on that HBO show, Hookers at the Point?
That is exactly what I was talking about. All right. That was, I don't know how you knew that. Yeah. I thought I was being slick.
I'm just checking.
If someone else said that about me, you would be upset.
I didn't say it. He said it. I asked him if that's what he meant because I want to clarify. So if I needed to take offense, I could.
Right.
I'm defending you. What are you talking about?
Okay. I'm confused enough that I'm going to say thanks, Gary.
You're welcome.
All right. Can we have some change of topic music, Mr. Bishop?
Yeah, of course.
All right, guys. Floyd Mayweather and is it Colin McGregor are set to fight.
I think it's you and McGregor.
No, that's
Connor.
a different Connor. A guy is coming, and he fights in the MMA, and he's Irish.
Wasn't McGregor the guy in the one where they cut each other's heads off? Wasn't that?
McLeod.
Peter Rabbit, yes.
McLeod of the Clan McLeod.
Oh, is that what it was? McLeod?
Yeah, McLeod. And so everybody that I've heard talk about it say that Mayweather is absolutely going to win, and it's ridiculous.
Really?
Yes.
What do you think, Will? You seem to not agree with that.
I'm not familiar enough with either of them, but I felt pretty certain that he was going to be out of his depth with UFC.
Well, I think it's a boxing match.
Oh, yes, it is. It's a straight boxing
did I
match.
not mention that
and
part?
And in fact, we heard today on the radio that there's clauses in the contract that if he slips up and elbows him or kicks him or something, he doesn't get his purse.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a.
Okay, in that case, I'm feeling pretty confident about Mayweather.
Yeah.
Then.
So is everybody else in the world.
Coming to UFC. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sweet science.
It is really delicious.
No, I think that. Although I think if what's his name, Ian McGregor, whatever you said, I feel like if he connects.
Well, if he starts doing heroin again, then it's all going to hell.
Right.
Okay.
Especially in.
Has that movie come out? Did Trainspotting 2 come out yet?
I think it did.
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
What happened? Was it no good?
I think it was
it was a quiet thing.
Yeah,
it came out the same weekend as Beauty and the Beast. People didn't go see it.
So it was a very different film.
Right.
Yeah. So Ewan McGregor was in both though, but
it happened like someone ODing on heroin, just quietly and just drifted away.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
that's what happened.
So anyway, McGregor, he's not allowed to kick by accident even.
Right. I think if he connects, a few punches.
You're saying he has a puncher's chance.
Yeah, definitely. But I feel that he's stronger than what's the other guy's name? Ewan Mayweather. Ewan Mayweather.
Ewan Mayweather.
Yeah. I feel that he's stronger than he is because he's younger, and he's I'm not saying that Mayweather's out of shape.
Well, Mayweather's been essentially retired for 2 years.
That's what I'm saying.
And how seriously will he take that? Like, he might not train. Yeah, no, he does have to show up. Like, he has to show up.
Right.
Well, that's how he gets the money.
But
I mean, like trained and in shape.
Oh, okay. I thought that was how low the bar was. No, he has to literally.
He appears and the other guy just falls down.
No, like he can't be there in street clothes and loafers. Like he's got to dress up.
He gets in there, he's got a huge beer gut and he's smoking a cigar.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's get this out of the way. I've got 3 seasons of Downton Abbey on my DVR to get through.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That I missed while I was training.
The last one's not really that worth it. Okay. All right, guys. Anything else about this matchup?
Do you think that Mayweather, who is a well-known gambler, do you think he will bet money on himself in what round? And
is he allowed? I don't think he's allowed to.
Wow.
Is he allowed?
I can give Gary money to bet on me if I'm not allowed, and Gary can.
Okay, yes, but I mean.
Well, it would be against some sort of ethics
betting,
or rules.
Like betting on
Is
himself
there
to
any
lose,
ethics
Bishop?
or rules, though? I'm saying is this.
Are you saying that he would bet on himself to lose, or that like he's
or to win?
Or
I
to
don't
win?
know.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know, but I'm saying like, is there any rules to this? Because is it sanctioned by the boxing committee? Is it a real boxing match, or is it just Jose Canseco versus?
It's just like Rocky versus a kangaroo,
right?
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's Rocky versus a kangaroo. I don't know if it's sanctioned.
He'd be putting his undefeated record on the line for like a stunt, right?
I don't know.
All I know is if he bets on himself and goes down against all odds, he better hope Marcellus Wallace doesn't find him instead.
That's right. That is right.
Now, this might sting a bit. And that sting is pride.
I don't remember that one. All right, guys. Yeah. Can I have a little change of topic music, Mr. Bishop? All right. I hesitate to even bring this up.
I don't think you do.
No, I do. Sometimes there's something in the news about sports, and it's real. And for reasons that may not be immediately obvious to the listener, I'm like, oh God, I don't want to bring I don't want to serve this up on the platter, but I'm going to do it. The Louisville basketball program has been penalized by the NCAA for hiring strippers and prostitutes to attend more than a dozen sex parties with recruits and players at a non-campus campus dormitory.
So they paid them. They didn't stiff
them.
them.
Let me finish at least the setup.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. Didn't that sound like from a Bugs Bunny cartoon?
It sounded more like Eliza Doolittle. Like at the beginning of the movie.
All right, Governor.
Yeah.
I can speak real English, I can.
Okay, that's about halfway through the movie.
Okay. Dormitory over a 5-year period. Louisville was placed on 4 years probation by the NCAA, and Pitino was suspended from coaching the first 5 ACC games this coming season. In addition to other penalties, the Cardinals were ordered to forfeit 4 scholarships overall during the 4-year probation and may have to vacate, and I don't know why they didn't decide this yet, but may have to vacate as many as 108 regular season victories and 15 NCAA tournament wins, including their 2013 championship.
Jeez.
And Mr. Pitino and the Cardinals are upset, and they think it is preposterous, and that they are victims.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was shocked to find out there was gambling going on.
Well, I have
in
a question for you.
establishment.
Did you know this was going on?
I don't even know that I've ever been.
Like
to
while it was
Louisville.
happening a few years ago, were you aware that it was happening?
A couple of years ago, they started talking about it, or a year or so ago.
While this was going on, before it came to light, were you aware that it was happening?
No, but I don't even
so
live in
I don't
Louisville.
think they're going to penalize you, as they should not, because you didn't know about it.
Okay, but do you understand the difference between I knew and I should have known? Like, no one thinks I should have known. Blair Postman should have known about this.
Everything
I don't
that
think
comes
I've ever
after
been,
that's the difference.
I don't think I've ever even been to Louisville. This man brought recruits on 16, 17.
Yeah, but let's be honest.
You let me finish, motherfucker.
Okay.
Brought 15 and 16 and 17-year-old recruits on, and even if he didn't know, it was because he let them out of his sight and let them out at night and let them do things.
Oh, are you finished?
Yes.
Well, may I retort?
Yes.
Okay. what normally happens at the other 189 schools in Division I is that the recruits come, the coach lets them out of sight, and then generous, sexually malleable girls that go to school there for no money take them out and do the same thing. So
I don't agree with that either.
That is absolutely what's happening. I've heard 100 players say.
I believe you, and I believe that happens, but I'm taking this as the thing that's in front of us right now. I don't think he gets to like be shocked that there's
No, but I think
going
this
on.
is about right. I don't think you can run him out of town because you cannot know all the time what's going on. I think it was one rogue coach, and he's the coach, so he's responsible, and this is a pretty stiff penalty in some ways. But I don't think you can hold him directly responsible, but I don't think you just let it slide because then they could do anything and you just always say I didn't know. So
what would be fair? What would make it make?
Well, what do you want to do?
Well, I think it's fine. I'm just saying, what are you going to do to make coaches make it their business? That's really when I was reading the different articles, that's the point people make. Like if you don't punish Pitino, and they have,
but
if you don't punish Pitino, then you're saying that it is in the coach's benefit to make sure he's turning a blind eye to everything.
But they did punish him. I disagree
they
with the premise that
he
didn't make it his business. Like, what's he going to do? What's the head coach going to do? He cannot follow those guys around all night. He can't. It's 15 kids. He's got all the responsibilities a coach has. He can't follow them around all night.
Well, then he better put the fear of God into the people who do follow him around all night.
Well, I think that's likely what happens in most of the situation. But, that guy's trying to get ahead. There's 7 coaches in front of him on the Louisville staff. The recruiting guy that goes out with the players at night is the bottom of the barrel guy.
Okay, but you said something to me just as a theoretical. Like the guy who's, the one who's going out and being like the party guy here, that, he's where is he getting the money for all of this? And so that's a good question. Like
if I was the NCAA, that's the question I would like to have answered. But you don't think there's some rich Louisville booster that slipped that guy $10,000 in an envelope?
Well, I'm just saying it would be interesting to know if there was any money missing from any other part of the budget.
What's my normal advice in any question in the world?
Follow the money.
Follow the money, Blair.
That's right. Follow the money.
I wouldn't say they would be sloppy enough to, because it's been going on a long time, they wouldn't be sloppy enough to leave like a paper trail like that.
I agree.
That's
why it's hard to convict him for it.
Right, yeah. Gary that owns the Lincoln dealership in Louisville, Kentucky, he's a huge fan. He went to school there. He wants some front row seats.
You own a Lincoln dealership?
You didn't know that?
Oh shit!
I thought you guys knew that.
We should be driving a better car.
Get him to take his gold chain into the gold store, and as it turns out, it's a really rare brand that's worth $25,000 cash.
Okay, let me ask you this: what do you think? I throw this open to the group. What do you guys think is the appropriate punishment?
I don't know. I think they fire the guy who watched it and paid the money. You got to fire him.
I feel like he got 10 years. He's not allowed to work in the NCAA.
And I think you void the wins and slap a fine or something on Pitino.
Do you void their championship?
No,
that doesn't matter though. Like if you won that championship, you don't give a crap if the NCAA voids it 3 years later. You won. I don't think anybody cares about that.
I don't know. Do they not care about that?
No, I don't think so.
Do they think that the strippers and sex parties helped them win the championship?
That they recruited.
Well, that's how they got the players there.
Who got the players?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's the same thing that they went through.
You got to keep your sales pipeline funnel full. Wills.
USC, right? Like with Reggie Bush,
yes.
There was no hookers that we know
of. Right, and they
ended
up like totally penalizing that team, and by the time they figured it out and penalized it, nobody that was on the team even played with them, and they all suffered. Half the team transferred.
Right.
Didn't make any sense.
I don't know. I don't like Will said. Did the hookers help them do a jump shot better?
No, but that's not what that's about. It's about that he helped them recruit.
Yeah, but in business, if you were, let's say, we're in Hollywood, right? If you were head of a company or whatever, and you wanted the best director to come work for you, I know it's totally different, but you don't think that hookers and stuff.
Well, first of all, these were minors.
They never dug a hole in their life.
ORS. And that's something to consider.
All of them were underage?
Yes. Yep. Well, the ones that they took, they were talking about with the testimony were 16 and 17 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. That's.
And one of them said that he didn't want to be there, so that was sort of against his will, and we'll get into that maybe.
I don't know if you know this, but
actually, on second thought, never will we talk about that.
Minors often get a discount from hookers, so that it might have saved
Gary,
a little money.
I want you to not. I want you to not.
I hate to pay full price.
You know what? Okay. So, all right. So, Louis, do you think he should have any penalties at all?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Right.
Well, I would love
we
for them
just
to
live in
approve
a
it.
lawless society
Well,
where
I'm just
everything's
saying,
okay.
everyone got paid. Everyone got laid. Everyone's fine.
Now we're all
Maybe
made
not.
in the shade.
Yeah.
I would like.
What do you think of that, Wills? What do you think of that?
So for my weigh in on this, clearly this is all a disgusting and awful thing that happened.
Are you trying to buck for some sort of raise?
Let him finish, Gary.
I have given up on that so much, man. I know where I am. I know what this is. There's no money in comedy. I know that now.
Well, so then you don't need to agree with Blair.
Yeah.
So say what do you want?
Let
Say what you want to say.
Let the young man
No,
finish.
so my only thing is I don't know enough to be like what an appropriate punishment is. Only that there should be one.
Okay.
I don't know.
You don't
what
know
voiding,
the NCAA
I don't know
rules
what
in
voiding
history.
a championship does, or how much that affects a program. I don't know how much. Like I was like when I said like, are we like I know like, oh, we're gonna get rid of your wins and your titles because you were like on performance enhancers. So that's why I was like, why does the strippers factor into them winning the championship?
Because they stripped them into
coming into
the
otherwise they'd
yeah.
be doing jump shots at other schools
But
and all that. Yeah.
My thing is this: is that basically we're just going to penalize them for getting sloppy. Like someone slipped up because everyone's been doing this for a million years. That's how you get some kid from Tennessee to come play, or Texas to play in Washington State or something like that.
Right.
You
Yes.
know, so
right.
This has been going on for a million years. It's just that these guys got sloppy and
Well,
someone
maybe they're
tripped up.
starting to clean it up. Maybe they don't want to be so sloppy anymore.
Remember the Cro-Magnon man scandal?
No.
Come on, guys.
It's about a million years ago.
Mind you, we're running out of time.
He wants you to go on the adventure of there being universities in prehistoric times.
Is there?
And this was a scandal that happened then too. So yeah, so maybe this is like a common part of the culture, and if it is, maybe it is good to make an example and show that it's not okay, and this is what's going to happen to you if you do this shit.
Consequences.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I hadn't heard anything about the story until just now, and I'm pretty grossed out.
And we assume that I'll say, well, I'm not even going to open that because we got to talk to Pranav. All right, we're moving on. I need a swish. Clean myself from this.
Well, you brought it up.
Yes.
I said I would regret it. Okay, I mean, that's plenty. Okay, listeners, we'll now call our guest Pranav Behari on the Dead Crow Comedy
Because that's his
Celebrity
name.
Talk line. Dead Crow Comedy Room in Wilmington, North Carolina has weekly events featuring local and regional comedians like Free Comedy Bingo every Tuesday, hosted by our own Louis Bishop and in-host sidekick Lou Morgante, as well as nationally touring comics from TV and movies every weekend, like this coming Friday and Saturday, June 23rd and 24th. Headliner Cliff Cash of Wilmington, North Carolina will be there. And whether you're a local or visiting Wilmington, North Carolina on your beach vacation, be sure to check them out at deadcrowcomedy.com. That's deadcrowcomedy.com. All right, let's come. Will you hold this, please?
I will.
Without covering the microphone. You got
That was.
No, it's in the bottom.
Okay, well, he handed it to me then.
Hello?
Hello, is this Pranav Behari?
Is this Blair Postman?
This is Blair Postman with My Fantasy Wife podcast, and you're on the air.
Hi, nice to be on air.
Yeah, well, and that means we're recording and we don't edit a lot. Pranav, I'm going to introduce you to who is in the studio with us. My sports stat expert husband, Gary Hames.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, Gary.
And comedian and local TV personality, Wills Maxwell.
Hey, Pranav.
Oh, Will.
What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
And rounding things out, comedian, sound engineer, and man about town, Mr. Louis Bishop.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, Louis. Nice to meet you.
And just a quick bio for our listeners. Pranav is a former Mad Magazine writer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that, Gary. And now he lights up stages.
Gary sounds old. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
You would be correct. Lighting up stages across New York City. Everyone, big round of applause for Pranav Behari. So, sir, we ask all of our comedians to tell us what sort of sports or sports-ish things that they have an interest in. And you're a challenge. You're a challenge, my friend. But we finally got down to it. And one of the things that I thought was pretty interesting is that you said you had childhood roast battles in the woods.
Yeah, basically.
Can you, which woods and where did you grow up and can you elaborate?
I grew up in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I was like a little brown Huck Finn, basically. Just rolling around there, prey fishing and all kinds of weird shit, and just spacing out in the woods a lot. Yeah. Now, the battles themselves did not actually happen in the woods.
Okay.
But I do like that as like a condition now for roast battles. Like
I think that would make people really need to want it.
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
I can just tell you this from experience. If you were a little brown Huck Finn and you were having roast battles in the woods in Pennsylvania, the losers put to death.
So
let's keep it out of the woods.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Sometimes the winners too.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes the winner. It's a tough.
You better win by a lot.
Tough crowd. What?
Absolutely.
So, what did you? How did these come about? How old were you when these were happening? What was going on?
I mean, I wouldn't say I was a child, but well, what can I say? I was, I had a real talent for being mean.
Okay.
Growing up, I was really good at being a dickhead.
Congratulations! It's panned out for you.
This is really more from like age 11 to age like 16.
And were you guys like really advanced in your cruelty? Like, I would be embarrassed maybe to hear it now, even the kinds of things you'd be roasting about.
I was really good. I didn't have to think about things. I was just naturally mean, apparently.
Oh, wow.
So, some of my competitors less so.
All right.
But no, I mean, we used to really go at it every day after lunch, every day, during a study hall or whatever the fuck it was. Every free moment we had, we would get in a circle, and we basically would devolve into I remember towards the end of all this roasting, which is maybe 8th or 9th grade, it basically devolved to like me and one other kid just surrounded by less witty minds, basically, just kind of cajoling us into roasting each other, pretty consistently, and basically turned like me and one of my best friends at the time into total arch enemies because it all culminated in a fist fight.
Oh, nice!
Oh, wow!
Yeah, the crowd was like way thirsty for blood. And they're like, yeah, all this witty stuff about each other's moms is great, but
but what about
some blood?
Yeah, but what about the real personal stuff? Yeah, let's see some blood. Did you guys make up? I feel like
I mean, I got this is like one of my best friends at the time. His name was Chris Steinmeier.
Yeah.
And he was funny as hell, and we were both known as the funny dudes. And so, as people are going through the dozens like this, they see who's obviously best, and so they try to pit you against each other, and that happens. And, these kids are petty, and so they're also then trying to, make it something else. So Chris and I started to become there was actually a genuine hostility in a lot of these battles. And it would just be like, it wouldn't even be at these ascribed times. It would be like in the middle of class. Somebody would pass a note and be like, Chris said this, and I'd have to respond in another note.
Right.
Basically, it would be like whispering verbal jabs.
Whisper roast battle.
Classes. Yeah, I mean, it was really brutal. And then they're like, who would win in a fight? Who would win in a fight? And da-da-da-da-da. And
so who did win in the fight?
Yeah, who did?
I whooped on Chris pretty hard.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If you could, let's pretend Chris Steinmeier's out there right now listening, because we have a really extensive fan base. What would you want? What would you want to say to Chris?
Well, I mean, Chris already knows. We became best friends then after that.
Okay.
6 months later, we found like a shared interest in shoplifting.
Oh, wonderful.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's something you didn't mention in our pre-production sessions.
Well, that was less competitive and more collaborative.
Oh.
What's the statute of limitations in Pennsylvania on shoplifting?
I don't know. That's a good question.
It's pretty harsh.
Hey,
that's
Pranav.
a Trump state, I'll just remind you.
Pranav, you're a brown kid shoplifting in Pennsylvania. Is Chris also a brown kid shoplifting?
His name was Chris Steinmeier.
I was going to say
yeah, so that's what I assumed.
I'm hoping he's a rich Jewish kid. Like
he was neither of those, but he was white as hell.
Okay.
So that's what I was assuming here. Did you not feel like you were at any peril going in on shoplifting endeavors with a non-brown person?
It was like the adrenaline of it was just so huge.
The guts on this guy.
Rush. It was all about the rush. It wasn't about the baseball cards. Or,
right.
strike on anything matches or whatever. We would just steal anything.
You've really gained the
WD-40. Put this in your pants.
Let me just summarize this. It took Blair half an hour to talk to you because you have absolutely no sports interest at all, and then you go shoplift baseball cards.
Yeah, right. This is the best part of the story. Did you you shoplift mostly baseball cards, or do you have a particularly something that you're kind of perversely proud of that you shoplifted?
It was literally everything. I'd say my best acquisition at the time, because I was also a pyromaniac.
Okay, sure.
Were white-tipped phosphorus matches.
Oh, wow. Are those
the
fancy?
strike on anywhere, so I could feel like the fucking outlaw Josie Wales.
Wow.
Just striking shit anywhere, and
Do you still have any of this stuff? Like, have you
What's
held on
that?
to the? Have you still have any of the stuff that you have hold on to any of the trophies?
Have I held it? No, definitely. I mean, it's just no. I mean, most of it was like pretty consumable, like candy and shit.
I was going to ask, when did you stop shoplifting? But instead I'm going to ask, have you stopped shoplifting?
Right.
And we are cops, by the way.
Shoplifting. I have. It's just the rush isn't the same.
It's not the same. Well, you moved on to other things. Moved on to other things. Did any of this? And let me ask you this, just not competitiveness related, but or maybe it is. How'd you start writing for Mad Magazine? Since I know that would catch Gary's great interest.
Well, Mad. Like my dad, when he came over from India, he brought like a stack of like Mad books.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they were like in book form, and so I used to just read those all the time as a kid, and. I was kind of a bad kid in school, so they wouldn't let me leave the library during like free periods and stuff. So
and apparently they were right about that.
Yeah, you'd steal something.
Burn it. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So, I kind of got an interest in it that way, and I remember I was in college, and a friend of mine who went to Harvard and had access to all the good job board stuff sent me this thing. It was like, write for Mad Magazine. It was basically a contest. So I entered the contest and I won it.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I started writing for Mad.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And where'd you go to school, just for kicks?
I went to a very small Methodist college called Lebanon Valley College.
Okay. Oh, in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of those there. Now, I also, you're particularly obsessed with certain movies. And one of them, which we did an entire episode on some months ago, was Caddyshack.
Oh, hell yeah.
And
Love
now we
Caddyshack.
have done, we do brackets now and again here as our game on the podcast. And a year and a half, or maybe almost 2 years ago, we did one on the best sports movies ever since 1969. And it didn't win, but it was the favorite of a couple of us. That
what
Caddyshack,
did win?
Rocky.
What?
Yeah.
Rocky.
Yeah.
All right.
Rocky.
Whatever.
Look, the finals was Rocky and Rudy, and I don't even want to get into the whole sports Space Jam thing. So, but Caddyshack was the winner for a couple of us here. Personal. When did you come to love Caddyshack, young man?
I'd say, well, I feel like I'm inside the actor's studio.
Well, you kind of are.
Just for watching movies?
In a super lowbrow way.
Exactly.
Yes.
Just for watching movies.
Inside the unknown actor studio.
Caddyshack, that's another thing. Like, my dad had just like a VHS, like, off of TV recording of Caddyshack, and we would all just watch it like pretty obsessively. We were obsessed with Caddyshack. All of our references were to Caddyshack.
Yes.
Everything, we would speak in Caddyshack basically to each other.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite character?
I mean, obviously Bill Murray's character is the best character in it. The wittiest is, of course, Ty Webb.
Yes. I think Judge Smalls is your favorite
No,
character.
it's hard to say who's my favorite. I love them all. I'm a big Rodney Dangerfield fan,
Oh,
too.
well,
though.
yes.
Of course. Yeah, you can't really forget.
Yes. As a Mad Magazine writing alum, I would think that Rodney would be a...
No, Rodney is definitely. I can't believe I neglected that, but yeah, he was.
Well, he's kind of off there in his. He's kind of a satellite part of the movie.
Yeah,
and
that's a terrible hat you shoplifted. Oh, it looks good on you, though.
Yes.
But he is kind of like the heart of the movie, right?
Yes. He's the through
It's
line
like-
in some ways.
Yeah, that was the movie that also turned me on to class consciousness.
Well, it did.
Yeah.
You know what? It does that also. It does that also. He is the heart. He is actually the moral compass in many ways. I mean, some would say the Chevy Chase character, but I think the Rodney Dangerfield character is because the Chevy Chase character is off to the side. He doesn't want to get involved. Rodney Dangerfield's character is in it.
Only reason he's a Bushwood is maybe he'll buy it.
Feel free to
it's
jump
kind of
on.
fucked up to think about today, but if you think about it, the Trump presidency is like the Caddyshack presidency. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like the loose cannon, like, kind of buffoonish but rich guy who's now stumbled into power.
It's like if Rodney
And,
Dangerfield had Judge Smalls' beliefs.
Right.
Basically, yeah. This is really like House of Cards meets Caddyshack.
All right.
That's really good.
You know what? That's the screenplay we're going to
might write an episode.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
really good.
That's our spec script. Now, the other movie that you told us that you were very obsessed with were the Conan movies, Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer.
Mostly Conan the Barbarian. But
Conan the Barbarian. And what brought you to that? They're rather divergent interests.
Just
Gary
my
shaking his
primitive
head no.
libido, I guess, pretty much. I was like, this guy's got a sword and tons of pussy.
That's pretty much right. He's got it going on.
Yeah, basically.
Well, we always play a game, Pranav, with our guests. And so what we have decided to play with you today is the Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer trivia throwdown. And this is before we knew you were a street fighter as well as a roast battler. And so what we do here, we're going to ask you some questions. And if you win, you get nothing.
Cool.
But if you lose, we'll probably make fun of it later on, on a future episode.
But not to mention that last week's guest set a record for most correct answers.
That's true. That's true.
We had Chris Calogero on last week.
Chris Calogero. He was doing
8.5 out of 10.
Yes, New Jersey.
Never been done before.
New Jersey.
What was his quiz about? That wasn't also Conan related.
No. His was New Jersey epic fails, sports, and others. So we'd have something about the New Jersey Generals and then something about the Hindenburg.
Do you want us to just pull up his questions? Just go straight for his score.
It's really the only way to compare.
I want to try my luck with this.
Well, we'll see how this goes. That's what we're going to do. Just the same quiz every week. All right. So this is the Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer trivia throwdown. Various forms of questions. Gary, do you want to start with number 1?
Okay. This is going to be a fill-in-the-blank question.
This is a fill-in-the-blank.
Valor pleases you, blank. So grant me one request. Grant me revenge. And if you do not listen, then the hell with you.
What is the blank? That's a quote. Read it again, Gary.
Valor pleases you, blank. So grant me one request.
Crom.
Yeah,
yes!
there you go.
Ding, 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 ding. Crom, who is their lord.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Really just his. I think he was the only one who still believed in Crom.
Oh, okay. That's I don't know. Okay, Wills. Why don't you take number 2?
Okay. Who played Princess Jenna in Destroyer?
See, I'm not a big Destroyer fan. She looked like Dana Plato from...
Except hotter.
From Different Strokes, but hotter. So I'm going to have to I'm just going to have to fall on my sword with that one.
Oh, it's kind of a pun. Sort of.
Yeah, right. She's the hottest 17-year-old girl in the history of Hollywood.
Yeah, okay.
That's Olivia Diabo.
Thanks for having an opinion on which minor woman is the most most hot.
That Gary's about to have his hard drive searched
time.
for.
I'm waiting for that BuzzFeed list, by the way.
Right.
11 hottest minors.
Clickbait. Talk about jailbait.
Nice.
What? Okay. Olivia Dabo.
Olivia Dabo. Holy shit.
Her sister was a Bond girl. Miriam Dabo was in one of the Bond movies.
But she was of age, so
she was of age. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. I'll ask number 3.
Why don't you?
This is a fill in the blank. Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the blank.
Lamentation.
Lamentation of the
Classic.
women.
Yeah.
All right.
I threw you a few softballs.
My sons will never understand me.
Yes.
Hey, Gary.
And you can't hear it, but Lewis is playing Conan stuff in the background. So
here's the whole movie. I think just the whole movie.
Right.
The whole movie.
I can't hear, but I have that playing in my head on background.
Okay,
Right.
wonderful. All right.
This one's a little tougher.
Okay, we're pausing because Gary's listening to music. Lewis, you can't play that with Gary.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not going to.
All right. Number 4. What now famous director and conspiracy theorist wrote the original Conan the
Oliver
Barbarian
Stone.
script? Oh, wow.
Ding, ding, ding,
That's
ding,
a good
ding.
one.
You knew that one.
Of course.
We weren't sure. I mean, that's deep. And apparently, it was going to be a 4-hour saga that included creatures and would have cost the studio back then $70 million, so they didn't use his version.
Well, I'm glad they just left it how it was.
Yeah. Great movie.
All right. Number 5. You're doing really good. You're 3 for 4 right now. Go ahead.
Cool.
You're practically in Chris Calangero's territory.
Holy shit. That hollowed ground.
I know.
That is what we call the trophy. It is just the Chris Calogero trophy that we
Yeah.
award at the end of each week. That was before he was on the show, too.
The Chris Calogero honorarium.
Yeah.
Right. Which
Yeah.
is nothing.
Right.
You get nothing. Go ahead, Wills.
A quote from which philosopher appears on screen at the beginning?
Nietzsche.
Yes. Just for fun, do you know what the quote is?
Yeah, that which does not kill us makes us strong.
Oh, ding, ding, ding. I might have to give you half a point for that.
Yeah, that
Destroy
sounds worth
us,
it.
whatever.
Yes, whatever
That's
it
a translation
takes.
issue.
An extra half a point, you mean?
What do you mean?
An extra half a point.
Because he got the question
Yes.
right.
Oh, yes.
Right,
an
not
extra.
just a half a point.
No. Like
Right, okay, because I was
one
going
right, an
to
extra
argue.
half a
Okay,
point.
I got you.
You were on his side.
Yes.
And I appreciate that.
All right.
Number 6.
Hold on 1 sec. Sorry, go ahead.
Which you've got to refocus. Okay.
Right.
Which character narrates the Barbarian film?
Mako. That's the wizard.
It's the wizard, but I think it's Akira, but I could be wrong.
Did you copy that one down wrong?
I don't know.
No, sorry, the actor's name was Mako. I'm sorry.
Yes, it is the wizard. I'm going to give you the wizard. I'm going to give you the wizard. I'm going to say
he's pretty much known as the wizard.
Yes.
throughout the movie.
Yes, he is.
I'm going to give you the wizard. All right, Gary, number 7.
What famous wrestler played Dagoth in Destroyer?
Wrestler.
And actor.
Dagoth.
He's so big, you might call him. He was French.
All right. Just give it to him, then just give it to him.
Was that Andre the Giant?
Yes! Ding, ding,
Okay,
ding,
yeah.
ding, ding, ding.
Yep.
All right, go ahead, Wills.
In Destroyer, when Bombada and Zulu are fighting, Grace Jones actually bit Will Chamberlain's ear, and that is real blood running down his neck. True or false?
False.
No.
Oh!
It's true.
These Destroyer questions.
It's
I told you Conan the
true.
Barbarian.
Well, you
and
should just
Destroyer
know
too,
because
right?
it's Grace Jones.
That's true. I should have guessed.
I did ask you whether you were also familiar with the other one.
Did you know she used to bang Dolph Lundgren?
Oh,
Yes,
maybe.
yes, I did know that.
No, don't lie. You're like, yes. I should have put it in quiz form. Quiz. Gary's over there faking jacks.
Wow.
You've already learned a lot about Gary in this short time. All right, number 9. What?
You should rename your podcast to My Happy Marriage.
Right. That would be ridiculous.
Nah.
What film role did basketball legend Wilt Chamberlain take on after Bombada in Destroyer?
Oh my God! It must have been in some kind of porn, right? Because he was just
Right.
so much plus that. I have no idea.
It's kind of a trick question. None. That was it. That was his only screen credit.
Okay, that's not really Conan related. That's
Right,
really
Blair.
Yeah.
I tried to get her not to use that one.
You should give him a point. That was a trick question.
Well, Lewis, if you come up with another question to ask him, you
Sure.
might earn another point.
All right.
So you have about a minute.
Okay.
Gary, you want to ask him number 10?
Sure. What actor played the evil Thulsa Doom?
James Earl Jones.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Now, somebody wants to come to Pranav's rescue here with another alternate Conan.
Sure.
Okay.
What was the name of the movie that had the redheaded chick in it?
Red Sonja. Red Sonja.
Told you.
Red Sonja.
Good one.
Yep.
All right.
you.
Yep.
Were you going to say before he got the answer, were you going to say what was the name of the movie that had a redheaded chick named Sonia in it?
Well, I can't say, but
1, 2. I think when we replace, I think he tied Chris Calogero for 8.5 with that extra point.
I think so.
He got 2 wrong, but
Is this going to be another
but
one
they
where
got a
Willis
half
comes back
point.
next week and says it was conspiracy and we
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm doing the math right now, real quick.
We've had some controversy, as you might
Yes.
imagine, Pranав, because it's pretty high stakes stuff. What do you have?
know.
Do you have anything coming up in the next few weeks, couple months, lifetime that you'd like to let our listeners know about?
Just some New York shows. Nothing too interesting beyond that.
Okay. Do you have any dream you're hoping to fulfill in the next 5 years?
Dream, just like beef up my Conan knowledge, you know?
Right,
Beef up my
exactly.
Conan knowledge.
I just got back with the guys from PricewaterhouseCoopers, and yes, it is 8.5 points.
Oh, a
Wow.
tie. Maybe we'll have to have
So he wins the prize, which in this case is 0, including the fee, which we would appreciate if you paid out of your own pocket.
Okay. Well, Pranab.
It's Godfather 2.
Nice.
Are you sure it's me and Moonlight did not win?
One of the guys was taking pictures of Emma Stone when I asked him, but I'm pretty sure he's got his shit together this time.
Okay.
All right, Pranab. Thank you so much for calling in. We really enjoyed having you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All
Great
right.
talking to you all.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Good talking to you, Pranav.
Bye.
See you on Facebook.
All
Bye.
right, see you. Bye. That was funny.
It was funny.
All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for us, folks. You can check us out on Facebook at My Fantasy Wife and subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Thank you, Mr. Bishop, for taking us out with the jazz trumpet stylings of Mr. Al Hurt.